Hello and welcome to French Property Renovations, and today you find me at my friends Alison and Jeremy's, and I'm outside their house on obviously their patio, and these two caps, you can see one here and the filter basket there, this is off their septic tank, and they've got blocked toilets right now. And basically the barn is at this level and you go down 2 steps onto the barn level, and this is where the toilet is. Now the drains are falling, which they're supposed to, your drains are supposed to go downhill, but at this particular point here where I am, it's more like this. So the drains are blocked, toilet's not functional, bath's not functional. So today I'm going to cut this section out. So I'm going to try and show you the angle of it now, and I'm going to try and replace it today, and hopefully we find where it's blocked. So I'm going to try and do a little video on that today, because it's all about drainage and soil pipes, and I have to go and fit a septic tank at my house at some point, so why not show you what's going on. So let's see if we can adjust this a little bit. So that's the soil pipe coming out of the house, and I'm going to try and cut it here where we've preliminarily put a hole in it to see if we could rod it from there. But that socket there is probably the lowest point right there, and it's rising up here and going into the septic tank. So I'm going to try and break it out there and take that elbow out, and possibly see where that's going as well, because we're going to have to potentially put a socket in there and break it. So this is the bit we're going to try and raise. So I'm going to try and cut it and lift it today. That's the plan, and we'll go from there, see if we can. Don't know if we can, but we're hoping so. And we'll go from there, see what we can do. And I might put it on a bit of time lapse and we'll show you what the results are at the end. Well, that's my job, helping out today. So I've removed the lid, and I've lowered the water level from where that black line is, and that looks like a baffle plate. So basically the soil products from the toilet are coming down here, in round that bend and into here, and then the solids hit the baffle plate, and in theory they should sink to the bottom of the septic tank, and the microorganisms should break down all the solids. The clear water that's on the top should run through and go into a filter bed and be filtered, and then into a field or back into the water system. Now here, let me see if I can show you from this perspective. If you look at that now, you can see that this pipe is going off on the angle, this one here, and it's not in a straight line with the socket and then the elbow. Now when you put these things together and construct them, they're supposed to really run in straight lines as best you can, because if they're not in straight lines, that's when you start to have problems. And let me jump back, if you can see from that angle as well, it's quite a bit. So what I'm thinking of doing now, I'm going to try and cut it, let me see if I can get my finger in it. I'm going to try and cut it about there and take this section out first, and then see if I can get my hand, with some gloves on obviously, round that bend to see if we can find any obstruction low down. This pipe at the top looks like it's probably an overflow, and that pipe and that pipe both drop into the top of the septic tank, so I think they're the overflow, but we don't know where they're going. So when you buy an old property, you do these jobs, you find out what is going on. If you buy a big industrial building, you tend to get drawings and everything that comes with it, and you know where everything is, where stop taps are, where valves are, and they're all labelled. You buy a house anywhere in the world, you probably get nothing. So it's a journey of discovery. Different perspective, but you can see there how it's not quite in line with the pipes, when really they should be nice lines. Right, I don't know if you can see, but I've cut it on the main pipe, and I've cut this elbow out, and I've put a slot here. And if you don't, I was going to show you a trick, because I've put a slot here, and basically you can get a screwdriver and you can chisel into where it's supposed to be glued and make a joint, but this hasn't even been glued. So by me cutting this slot in it, it's allowed it to come loose. If I can just snap the last bit, let me just cut it, the last little bit. So there we go, and if you look at that, I don't know if you can see inside it, it's not even been glued, but that stop on the inside is where the elbow, the bend, is supposed to go to. So we can reuse that. It's nice and clean. We can hopefully get a new elbow on there. And this doesn't even look like it's solid. So obviously it's stuck between the 2 points at the moment, so I'm going to try and just cut that section out. And I think there's all your blockages. Maybe. Yep, there's all the blockages. So basically, you can see it blocked there. I don't know if you can see that. I'll try and get a better angle. But that end's clean, and that weighs a ton. That's where it's blocked. Pretty sure of that. There you go. I don't know if you can see that down the bottom, but you should be able to see the bottom of the pipe. But basically all you can see is a build-up of lard and little bits of debris and what have you. Not the prettiest. And there you go. So now basically we've got to renew all that, make it good. But you can tell, let me jump over to the other side. You can tell on the angle there, it's not been good. So I think it's a trip to the DIY shop, see what we can buy. I'm back again, I couldn't resist. Let's have a see what we can get out. And that's a build-up of fats, that. So I think that's what was blocking it. So to save some pennies, I've decided we'll see if we can take all this to pieces, so we only have to buy the bare minimum. Now when you're knocking these off, you need to kind of knock them from side to side. There we go, that's recycled. See if we can do the same with the tea. Get it off. Gosh. Sometimes to get these off you can use a file and use the edge of the file to knock them off. It's a bit awkward to hold it right now. Not the best job in the world to be doing any morning. And I've heard all the old jokes as well. Oh yeah, I've just knocked it further back on now. Never mind. So far I've recycled one socket, one bend, and we might have a T yet. Might need 2 gloves for that. Where's the other glove? That does not come out of there. Going to get the cutter so they're ready for cleaning. Passes that? No, no, oh yeah, go for it, I'll try it. Come in slowly. Oh, no. Here's a question, you see, for yourself. It's got a little crack in it now, but it wasn't even soldered solvent welded together with glue. Can't get that out. Right, I think we'll one T. I think that's all we need then now. So this one here, if you look on this, you can see the remnants of where this one has actually had some glue, and this is the only connection going into the fosse like this, and it's had a smearing of glue, but you can see where it's clearly not being glued and where it, oh, if I can get the angle right with my gloves, there you go, where it has been glued. So I'm going to file all the glue off now so it becomes a clean elbow again, and then we can reuse it. That's the plan. Oh, and do you like my new haircut? So I've cleaned up this one up, filed it all round so it's nice and clean. So we're going to try and get rid of some of this muck out of the hole first, because I'm going to be working in it later. Don't be worried to put it in the septic tank, it's where it was going. And sometimes if you're worried about this, dig the hole deeper and let it sink to the bottom and put your new pipe over the top. So obviously there was a bit of backfall here. So the question is, can we lift this one up a little bit when it goes in here? So I don't know if you can see that pipe. That's most of the muck, debris removed. So this now should nicely fit onto that, which it does. So part one done. So now we're going to have to buy a T and try and make this angle a little bit better. In England you can get like a rubber socket with Jubilee clips, and that allows for a bit more deflection. So we'll have to see what we can buy from the DIY store here in France. But that's the essence of what we're doing now. Let me jump over there. So we've salvaged a socket, so in theory that's going to go on there. But what you need to do, when you cut plastic pipe you get like a burr on here, so you need to chamfer this with a file on a nice angle, and then it'll be good for your socket, because these burrs, they catch all the tissue paper. So I'm going to clean this up as well and put that on there basically. So we need to get from A to B now and C, and that's us. But if you can, I don't know if you've got a good camera angle on that, but that drain there is probably 2 to 3 inches, 75mm lower when it should be on par. So not ideal. See what we can do. I don't know if it's going to lift that far, you know. Now returned from the DIY shop, and in essence this is what we've bought. One T, one male and female elbow, another T or junction, some people call them junctions, well this is reducing, so if you was ordering this, this would be 4, 4, and the T is the last one you would write on your order, which is I think 40mm that. But we're going to put that in there to go to an elbow there, 135 with a cap end on the end, so we can potentially rod it or put the hose pipe down it, and that will end up in essence at the top on ground level, so you can take the cap off and then rod it. Oop, joys. And I've got some glue, so we're going to try and put all this back together now, see if we can make it work.